Okay, real talk. When was the last time you thought about your transmission fluid? Yeah, that's what I thought. Most people check their engine oil, maybe their tire pressure if they're feeling fancy, but transmission fluid? Nobody talks about it. It's the forgotten fluid, the one sitting quietly in your car, doing an insane amount of work while you completely ignore it. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you ignore it for too long. Spoiler, it's not pretty.
What is transmission fluid?
Before we get into the horror story, let's quickly cover what transmission fluid actually is. Because most people have no idea. Think of it like blood for your gearbox. Your transmission has hundreds of moving metal parts inside it. Gears, clutch packs, valve bodies, bearings, all spinning and meshing together at insane speeds. Without fluid, that's basically a metal blender with no liquid in it. Not good. The fluid does three critical jobs. First, lubrication. It creates a thin film between all those metal parts so they don't grind against each other. Second, cooling. All that friction generates serious heat. The fluid absorbs that heat and carries it away. Third, hydraulic pressure. In automatic transmissions especially, the fluid is what actually shifts your gears. It's not magic, it's pressurized fluid pushing on pistons inside the transmission. So, yeah, this stuff is kind of important.
Fresh vs. old fluid.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Fresh transmission fluid is actually kind of beautiful. It's bright red, almost transparent, and it smells slightly sweet. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. Go check yours right now if you want. If it's red and clear, you're good. But over time, and this is where the problems start, heat and friction slowly break down the fluid. The additives that protect your gears start to wear out. Tiny metal particles from normal wear start floating around in the fluid. And the fluid itself oxidizes and turns dark. First it goes pink, then brown, then dark brown, then basically black. And the smell? It goes from slightly sweet to, and I'm not exaggerating here, burnt toast. If your transmission fluid smells like burnt toast, that's your car screaming at you.
The symptoms you'll feel.
Okay, so your fluid is getting old and dirty. What do you actually feel in the car? Let me walk you through the stages, because this doesn't happen overnight. Stage 1, rough shifts. Your transmission starts shifting a little harder than usual. Not terrible, but noticeable. Like the car is clearing its throat. Stage 2, delayed engagement. You put it in drive, and there's a slight pause before the car actually moves. Half a second, maybe a full second. That's the fluid struggling to build hydraulic pressure fast enough. Stage 3, slipping gears. This one is scary. The engine revs up, you can hear the RPMs climbing, but the car doesn't accelerate the way it should. It's like the transmission momentarily forgets what gear it's in. Stage 4, shuddering. The car starts to shake or vibrate during acceleration, especially between 40 and 80 kilometers per hour. Stage 5, overheating. Your transmission temperature warning light comes on. At this point, you're past the warning signs, you're in the emergency zone.
The science behind the breakdown.
Let me get a little nerdy here for a second, because understanding why this happens makes everything click. Transmission fluid contains a cocktail of additives, anti-wear agents that protect metal surfaces, friction modifiers that help the clutch packs engage smoothly, antioxidants that prevent the fluid from breaking down, corrosion inhibitors, detergents. It's not just oil, it's chemistry. But here's the thing about chemistry, it gets used up. Every time your transmission shifts, and in city driving that can be hundreds of times per hour, those additives do their job. And slowly, shift by shift, they get depleted. Think of it like a phone battery. A new battery holds charge perfectly, but after a few hundred charge cycles, it starts degrading. Your transmission fluid works the same way. The base oil also breaks down under heat. Automatic transmissions run at temperatures between 80 and 100 degrees Celsius normally. But if you're towing, driving in traffic, or pushing the car hard, temperatures can spike to 150 or even 175 degrees Celsius. At those temperatures, the oil oxidizes rapidly, forming varnish deposits on internal components. Those varnish deposits clog the tiny oil passages inside the valve body, the part that controls hydraulic pressure. And when those passages get blocked, your transmission literally can't control itself.
Real cost breakdown.
All right, let's talk money. because this is where people really start paying attention. A transmission fluid change, depending on your car, costs between $80 and $200. That's it. That's the prevention cost. Now let's look at what happens if you skip it. A transmission flush and filter replacement when the damage has already started, $200 to $400. A transmission rebuild, where a mechanic takes apart your transmission, replaces the worn components, and puts it back together, $1,500 to $3,500. A full transmission replacement with a remanufactured unit, $2,500 to $5,000. And if you drive a luxury brand, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, add another $2,000 to $3,000 on top of that. And here's the kicker. If the transmission fails completely while you're driving, you might also damage the drive shaft, the differential, or even the engine. Now, you're not just looking at a transmission repair. You're looking at potentially writing off the car, all because of a $150 fluid change.
Myths and common mistakes.
Now, let me bust some myths, because there's a lot of bad advice floating around about transmission fluid. Myth number 1, transmission fluid is lifetime fluid. You never need to change it. Some manufacturers actually say this, and it's one of the most damaging pieces of advice in automotive history. What lifetime fluid actually means is it lasts for the lifetime of the warranty, not the lifetime of the car. It's a cost-cutting move by manufacturers. Don't fall for it. Myth number 2, if it's not broken, don't fix it. The problem with transmissions is that by the time you feel the symptoms, the damage is already happening inside. You don't wait until your teeth hurt to brush them. Same logic applies here. Myth number 3, I can just top it off instead of changing it. No. Old degraded fluid mixed with fresh fluid is still mostly old degraded fluid. You need to actually flush it out. Myth number 4, any transmission fluid works in my car. This one can actually destroy your transmission. Different transmissions require completely different fluid formulations. Using the wrong type, even once, can damage clutch packs and seals. Always check your owner's manual or ask a professional.
How to check your fluid.
Okay, practical time. How do you actually check your transmission fluid? For most older cars, it's simple. Warm up the engine, leave it running, locate the transmission dipstick. It's usually towards the back of the engine bay, often with a red or pink handle. Pull it out, wipe it, reinsert, pull it out again. Look at the color and smell it. Red and clear, great. Pink or light brown, getting old, schedule a change. Dark brown or black, change it now. Smells burnt, change it yesterday. Now here's the catch. Many modern cars, especially European brands, don't have a transmission dipstick at all. They're sealed units. For those, you'll need a professional to check the fluid level using a special plug underneath the car. Don't let that stop you from having it checked, though. If your car has over 60,000 kilometers on it and you have no record of a transmission fluid change, go get it checked. Today, if possible.
When and how often?
So how often should you actually change it? Here's the general guideline, but always check your specific manufacturer's recommendation. For most conventional automatic transmissions, every 60,000 to 80,000 kilometers. For continuously variable transmissions, CVTs, those are the ones that feel smooth but whine a lot, every 40,000 to 60,000 kilometers. CVT fluid degrades faster and they're notoriously expensive to replace, so don't skip this one. For dual clutch transmissions, DCTs, every 40,000 kilometers. For manual transmissions, yes, manual gearboxes have fluid too. Most people don't know this. Every 50,000 to 80,000 kilometers. And if you do a lot of towing, drive in extreme heat, or spend a lot of time in stop-and-go traffic, cut those intervals in half. Your driving conditions matter. A taxi doing 80,000 kilometers a year in city traffic needs fluid changes way more often than someone doing highway driving on weekends.
Outro.
Look, your car is constantly trying to tell you something. Sometimes it's a noise, sometimes it's a warning light, sometimes it's just the way it feels when you drive. Transmission fluid is one of those things that gives you no warning until it's too late. But now you know. Check it. Change it on schedule. Use the right fluid. And if you're not sure, just take it to a mechanic and ask. It's a 5-minute check that could save you thousands. If this video made you think twice about your transmission fluid, hit subscribe, because every week we translate what your car is trying to tell you. And trust me, your car has a lot to say.
Understand your car. Follow for more.